Hello, children. Welcome to online learning. I hope all of you are safe at home and doing your studies well. This presentation is for class 9th, subject English Literature, and today we will learn about Chief Seattle's speech. This speech was given by Chief Seattle, and this speech holds a very important position in the history of America. About the author. Chief Seattle was born in 1786 and died in 1866. He was a famous 19th century American Indian chief of the Duwamish and the Suquamish tribe. His father was from the Suquamish tribe and his mother was from the Duwamish tribe. His people called him Slith, pronounced as Siath. He was a prominent leader of his times, but later he gradually began to lose his power when the white settlers began invading the tribal lands. The city of Seattle, found in the state of Washington, USA, is named after him. He was a reputed and a prominent figure among his tribal people. In his impressive speech, he pursued the path of accommodation to white settlers in the U.S. state of Washington. In his speech, he gave powerful arguments in favor of ecological responsibility and respect of Native Americans' land rights. He thanks the white chief, means the governor of Washington, named Isaac I. Stevens, for acknowledging his greetings of friendship and goodwill. He praises the kindness and greatness of the white chief. He says that though he wishes to buy their land, he is willing to allow them liberty to live comfortably. He calls it as a gesture of generosity. The actual content of the speech is uncertain and much has been lost through translation and rewriting. So, in short, the author of the speech is Chief Seattle himself. He has given this chief speech when the white chief, means the governor of Washington, sends a proposal to buy the native land from the red Americans. Theme of the speech. This speech was a response to the American government's land treaty. The treaty offered to buy the native lands of the tribes. It was proposed by the governor of Washington Territory. Seattle's speech is regarded as a powerful appeal for the respect for Native Americans' rights and environmental values. Seattle criticized the white people's policies and their careless development plans which affected the environment. In fact, It was one of the earliest instances where someone expressed great concern over the degradation of nature and ecological balance. He warned us against the rapid progress of Western civilization and appealed for the need to protect nature. This is why Chief Seattle's speech is seen in such high esteem. One important thing to remember, Seattle delivered the speech in his native language, lush seed, and it has been translated and rewritten by several authors since then. Background of the speech. This speech was a response to the American government's land treaty to buy the native lands proposed by Isaac Stevens, the governor of Washington Territory. Seattle's speech is regarded as a powerful plea for respect of Native American rights and environmental values. Chief Seattle's speech characters. Chief Seattle himself is the main character. He belongs to the Suquamish tribe, as already mentioned. He was a powerful orator. Chief Seattle was brilliant, argumentative, and logical. He advocates peace and he is against hostilities. Chief Seattle was wise, profound, and philosophical. The chief calls death only a change of world. Important points discussed by Chief Seattle in his speech. Yonder sky that has wept tears of compassion upon my people for centuries untold, and which to us appears changeless and eternal, may change. Today is fair, tomorrow it may be overcast with clouds. At the very beginning of the speech, Chief Seattle expresses his concern over environmental degradation and its possible impact upon human civilization if we do not take immediate measures to protect it. According to him, nature has been a great sympathizer for his native people for a long time now. Nature has given them everything they need to live on this earth. He fears that though this condition seems to be eternal and changeless, it may ultimately change. Human civilization may face great trouble in future if we do not respect environmental values. Then the speaker ascertains his reliability by comparing his words to the stars that never change. So, he will not change his stance in response to the government's proposal of a land treaty with the natives. Important points discussed by Chief Seattle in his speech. Second point, the white chief means the governor, had arrived with the proposal and the message of friendship from the big chief. Here big chief means the president of USA. Seattle says that it is kind of them to offer the natives their goodwill and friendship because he knows that the government has no need of the natives' friendship in return. Seattle speaks of the deplorable condition of his people. Deplorable means sad, miserable condition of his people. Means the native red Americans are not in good condition. He remembers that once they had filled the entire country, but now there are only few people left in their tribes. They are on the verge of extinction, means they are about to extinct. So, actually, they do not need the vast land anymore. So here the chief Seattle wants to say that the number of people has reduced in his tribe. So they don't want such a big land which was once filled with his own people. And for this doom of the Red Indians, Seattle mainly accuses the white people's act of forcing their way into the native lands. The white people regarded themselves as superior and supreme and do not respect the tribal people's land rights and cultural values. Seattle also criticizes the reckless manner of the young men of his own tribe. So in this line, Seattle wants to say that his young men in his own tribe are careless because they act without thinking about the result of the act. Reckless means careless of the consequences, means doing an act without thinking about the consequence or result. According to him, the youth should be more sensible and responsible. Seattle says the president has offered to protect the native women, children, and the old men from the attack of their old outside enemies like the Haidas and the Timshians if they agree to the land treaty. In that case, the president would really be their protector, their father, but he doubts that if that will ever be possible. Important points discussed by Chief Seattle in his speech. Third point. According to Seattle, there are so many cultural differences between the white Americans and the native red Indians that a union or a mutual understanding between the two looks unlikely. After all, they are two distinct races with separate origins and separate destinies. The white people have received all the love and care of God. The tribal people have been deprived of the love, guidance, and protection of God and finally came to their meager existence. The native red people of America live closer to nature than the white people. They love the beautiful aspects of nature and understand the importance of maintaining it. To the tribal people, The ashes of their ancestors are sacred and they visit their resting grounds to show their respect for those. But, as Seattle complains, the white people have no feelings for their ancestors. They wander far from their graves without any regret. Again, the white people do not seem to love this world any more after they die. So, they never visit their people and places again. But the tribal people never forget this beautiful world that gave them being and continue to visit their loved ones to guide, console, and comfort them. Important points discussed by Chief Seattle in his speech. This point will tell us the religious differences between the white and the red Indians. Seattle even says that the white people's religion, that is Christianity, is written upon stones so that people never forget it. It is not felt by heart. Their religion is somewhat artificial and mechanical, as they have no respect for the environment and for their ancestors. But the native people's religion is the traditions of our ancestors, the dreams of our old men. The chief prepares his people for their impending doom by saying that no one will be spared from the hands of time, death, and decay. Death is a common destiny that the white men too cannot defy, means the white men cannot refuse death. Defy means to refuse to obey. So death will come to everybody. Anyway, Seattle says that he may still agree to the government's proposal, but the natives should be allowed to visit the resting grounds of their ancestors. But should we accept it? I here and now make this decision that we will not be denied the privilege without molestation. Molestation means harass, of visiting at any time the tombs of our ancestors, friends, and children. So, in this paragraph, Seattle wants to say that the white people will not ask them to leave that land, and they will also give them the right to visit the tombs of their ancestors at any time they want. He again wants the president to be just and deal kindly with his people. He believes that death is just a change of worlds and the spirits of the natives will still be there after their death to take revenge if they are treated badly. Red and White Men Agreement. The Red Indians will reflect over the white men's proposal given to them and get back to them. However, Seattle makes one non-negotiable condition: a privilege to visit the tombs of their ancestors without any restriction. The soil, land, hillside, valley, plain, and grove are sacred with a sad or a happy event of his people. Even the rock store memories of his people. The dust is rich with the blood of his ancestors. Extinction and myth-making of Red Indians. One day the red men will die out, and a myth of their dead tribe will spread among their children. When the white children think of this land as their own, and they are alone, these shores will have invisible dead of his tribe. In the silence of the woods, the red Indians will be present. Even if the white men kill all the red Indians, they will never be alone on this land. Therefore, let the white chief be fair and just to his people, because even their dead are powerful. He refuses to accept death. The so-called death is only a change of form. So here Chief Seattle wants to say that the dead people of his tribe are powerful, and death is just a change of form. So they will live on this land for eternal. Red and white men's destiny. As day and night cannot stay together, white and red men also cannot live together. The whites have presented a proposal to buy the red Indians' land. Seattle feels it is a fair one, and they are resigned to the fact of accepting it and live within the limits of the offered land. Their future is dark and sad. In a short time span, the Red Indians, who lived in happy homes and mourned over their dead, protected by the Great Spirit, will vanish from this land. A wave in the sea is followed by another, a tribe is followed by another, and a nation is followed by another. Similarly, the Red Indians will become extinct and the white men will rule, but the same destiny will visit the white men sometime in future. Chief Seattle's speech, word notes and explanations. Compassion, sympathy, eternal, permanent, prairies, wide areas of grassland, reapproach, criticize, disfigure, spoil, restrain, check, hostilities, strong and angry opposition, forsaken, abandoned, prosperity, progress, affluence, teeming, present in large numbers, firmament, the sky, sacred, holy, comprehend, understand, solemn, serious, verdant, fresh and green, sequestered, quiet and far away, dense, thick, grim, serious, mourn over, grief over, swelter, feel uncomfortable, maidens, unmarried girls, somber, serious, perished, destroyed, deserted, lonely, throng, go somewhere in large numbers. Assignment. These questions, children, you will do in your copy. Assignment. Mention the main difference between the two religions of the whites and the red Indians. What is one major difference in the attitude towards the dead between the red Indians and the white people according to Chief Seattle? Next question. What is the difference between the dead of the red Indians and the white people? What do day and night stand for? Why does the Chief Seattle say that day and night cannot dwell together? Next question. What is Chief Seattle's prediction of the future of his people? Next. How does Chief Seattle justify the fate of his people and accept it? What is Chief Seattle's prediction for the white people? Last question. Why does Chief Seattle say that the white man will never be alone and the dead are not powerless? Thank you for your patience. This presentation was prepared by your English teacher, Sonu Nanda.